Today, 500 students are gonna build 500 solar powered toy cars with their own hands with Chitti's solar power car kit. This video is not just about toy cars, it's about how sunlight is converted to electricity, how solar panels actually work, and why NASA stopped using solar panels on their Mars rovers and how they rectified it in their recent launch. Come, let's dive into the video. Now we are inside Chitti's solar power workshop. This is not just a classroom, it's a mini engineering lab. Here kids don't just listen, they build, break and discover. First our trainers guide the kids how to build the solar power car. Next, they learn the science behind solar power. Finally, they take the cars into the sunlight and test it. In science, it only matters if it works, right? Do you know how a solar panel produces electricity when sunlight falls on it? For that, we'll have to go inside a solar panel. A solar panel has thousands of solar cells, and these solar cells are made of sand. Yes, the same sand that you see on the beach. This sand is purified to attain pure silicon. But pure silicon has a problem. In pure silicon, the electrons are bonded very tightly to the atom, so they can't move freely. Every atom has its electrons arranged in orbits, and silicon has 4 electrons in its outer orbit, and all these 4 electrons are involved in strong bonding with its neighboring atoms. So since all these 4 electrons are involved in strong bonding, they cannot move freely. Actually, movement of free electrons in one direction is called electric current. And since they don't move at all here, there is no electric current. To solve this, scientists use a technique called doping. Doping simply means adding a small amount of another element into pure silicon. So phosphorus is added to silicon. Phosphorus has 5 electrons in its outer orbit. 4 of these electrons form strong bonds with its neighboring silicon atoms. But 1 extra electron is left over, loosely bound. This happens not just once but throughout the structure. So a lot of free electrons are created across the silicon crystal. These electrons are free to move across other atoms. Even then, the material is electrically neutral because there are equal number of positive and negative charges in phosphorus and silicon. Now when sunlight falls on the solar cells, light's energy particles, photons, collide with the electrons and make them move. Electrons start moving in random directions. They have to move in one direction because random motion alone cannot produce electricity. That's why we use a technique called p-n junction. We already have the n-type layer with extra electrons. Silicon doped with phosphorus is called n-type doping. To form the p-type layer, silicon is doped with boron. This type of doping is called p-type doping. Boron has 3 electrons in its outer orbit, while silicon has 4. When boron replaces a silicon atom in the crystal, it can form only 3 covalent bonds with neighboring silicon atoms. The 4th bond is incomplete, 1 electron is missing. This missing electron behaves like a positive charge called a hole, which can accept electrons and move through the material. Now we have the n layer with extra electrons and p layer with holes. When they are joined together, the electrons from the n side move to the holes in the p side. Since the charges are combined in this region, there are no free charges here, and this forms the depletion region. So, when light of sufficient energy falls on this p-n junction, the free electrons move across the barrier and go to the holes. Hence, electrons move across in one direction, producing electricity. That's a solar cell. When many such solar cells are joined together, it forms a solar panel. Now let's leave Earth. Early Mars rovers used solar panels for power, but Mars has a serious problem: dust. Martian dust covers the solar panels and blocks sunlight. Sandstorms can even damage the panels. Because of this, many rovers stopped working early. So NASA needed a better power source. That is when NASA introduced RTG, radioisotope thermoelectric generator, in its Curiosity rover. Instead of sunlight, it uses plutonium-238. This is an unstable material. It breaks down or decays. As it decays, it releases heat. That heat is converted into electricity by Seebeck effect. Seebeck effect is when you take two metals connected at one end, and when you heat it, the electrons start drifting towards the colder end. So that technology was used in the Perseverance rover. It produces around 110 watts of power at launch. Its half-life is 87.9 years. That means the power output reduces by half only once every 87.9 years. On Mars, RTG is far more reliable than solar panels. Our solar power event is a great success. It's not just an event, it's a celebration. This solar power car is not just a toy, it is curiosity in action. The first step kids have taken towards innovation. At Chitti Future School, kids have built more than 200 STEM projects across science, technology and engineering. If you want your kids to learn science by doing, then click the link in the description and book a free demo session, because the future doesn't belong to those who memorize, but those who build it.